My name is Fu Qingdai. I'm 17, a student at Longshan High, and pretty much every guy in school owes me money. 2 weeks ago, I started having the same nightmare. Floods. People going insane. Eating each other. I told everyone. No one believed me. My mom had me committed. But I'm not crazy. I just borrowed from every boy in school before the end of the world and buried the cash under a tree by my apartment. Now the man from my dreams is sitting across from me, claiming to be from planet Namek. He says he's here to save me. All I want to know is, 7 days from now, will any of us still be alive? Chapter 1, The Mysterious Company. I woke up from that nightmare again. Cold sweat had soaked through my thin pajamas, my heart pounding wildly in my chest like it was trying to break free. Endless rain, hunger and cold, people going insane, people eating people. The scenes were too real. The smell of blood and bodies still seemed to linger in my nose, making me gag. This had been my reality for 2 weeks now. Every dream was crystal clear, clear enough that I could remember the shape of every dark cloud, every desperate scream. I pulled back the curtain with trembling hands. The sky was just starting to lighten. When I saw the clouds rolling across it in wave-like layers, my last bit of denial shattered completely. Tears streamed down my face without warning. It looked exactly like my dreams. Based on the patterns I'd recorded, that terrifying day wasn't far away. I'd told my parents, my teachers, my classmates. No one believed me. To them, I was just a stressed-out student with an overactive imagination. What else could I do? The door opened. It was my mom. Like always, she sat on the edge of my bed with that tired, helpless look, trying to calm me down. I threw myself into her arms, sobbing, begging her to believe me, to move us somewhere far away if she had to. But her response was always the same: you're just too stressed about school and focus on your studies. When I desperately tried to tell her that this dream was different, that I'd seen a man, heard a voice, her eyes suddenly got sharp and suspicious, like she'd caught me secretly dating. In that moment, my heart went cold. My last hope was to ask her for money. I said I wanted to eat better, buy some practice books. $500. She just tossed me $50 with a hurry up and get ready for school and walked out without looking back. I wiped my tears and sat at my desk, feeling bitter and hollow. If I were just a little older, able to make my own money, maybe I could convince them. From outside came my mom's complaints about my dad, the TV news, everything was normal. Only I knew that this world was about to end. Chapter 2, I didn't sign up for this. The classroom buzzed with morning reading. I sat down mechanically at my desk, distracted. My friend Xiaoning leaned over and whispered if I'd had the dream again. I hesitated, then nodded, grabbing her hand urgently. If it rains, I whispered fiercely, don't let it touch you. You have to prepare food, seal the windows and doors. Xiaoning's face went weird. She nodded vaguely and turned back to her book. I knew, in her eyes, I was crazy now. The guy in front turned around, muttering something to Xiaoning about reading too many novels made her lose it. Xiaoning shot back, if I lose it, at least it'll be over some hot guys. I couldn't even argue. I just sat there, numb. Lunchtime. The cafeteria was packed. I took a deep breath, walked up to a guy from my class named Gao Peng, and tugged his sleeve. He looked surprised, stammering to ask what I wanted. I stared at my shoes and quietly asked if he could lend me some money. He said yes. $100. I looked up and smiled. His face turned bright red. I knew what he might be thinking, but I couldn't afford to care. I needed money. I needed to prepare as much as I could. Not far away, I knew someone was watching me, already texting my mom on the sly. Whatever. Everything I did was crazy anyway. Chapter 3, The School Beauty's Nightmare. Longshan Psychiatric Hospital. I sat in my hospital gown by the window of the multipurpose hall. Outside, the sun was bright, trees were green, a peaceful scene. But it only felt cruel. The ceiling fan creaked overhead, surrounded by patients who were either catatonic or screaming. It was suffocating. Time was running out. I gripped my sleeves, eyes burning. I'd tried so hard, for so long, and still no one believed me. My only hope was the voice in my dream that said someone would come for me. If he showed up, it meant the end was real. If he didn't, then maybe the dream was fake, and the end would never come. That would be better, right? I wiped my eyes, trying to feel hopeful. But just as I turned around, a figure in the dark hallway, carrying a briefcase. A black silhouette walking toward me. In that instant, time stopped. The image from my dreams, that same figure standing in a hellscape of bodies, overlaid perfectly with the man in front of me. Like a lightning strike. The tears I'd held back finally spilled over. It was real. The end was really coming. He walked up, pulled out a chair, and sat across from me. He looked young, wearing a weird trench coat, but his eyes were steady and calm. Somehow, that calm was reassuring. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then, in a low voice, he asked, "The company already contacted you, right?" I nodded, my heart racing. He asked my name, then told me to call him cousin, said he was sent by some company, name of Li Haocheng. I didn't know what the company was, but he was here. Like a drowning person grabbing a life raft. He asked me a ton of questions, my life, my family, my dreams. I told him everything. When I mentioned the rain, the chaos, the people turning on each other, I saw his expression change. He asked weird stuff, too. How much my family earned. If this was a law and order society. If I thought I was pretty. If he was handsome. I answered honestly, even when the questions made me blush. Finally, he let me ask my own. I took a breath. Cousin. Are you an alien? Chapter 4, Brave New World. Without a doubt, he said, totally straight-faced, I'm from planet Namek. My voice shook. Cousin, are you wearing human skin? This is what Namekians look like. Well, okay then. I was slightly relieved, but my head was spinning with questions. Finally, I asked the big one, cousin, what's really going on with my dreams? He launched into an explanation, said the universe was full of civilizations, and we'd been targeted by space pirates called the Trisolarans. They'd seeded our atmosphere with a virus, and once we were all dead, they'd come back to strip our planet. My face went white. This was insane. Why me? Why not warn the people in charge? He said I had antibodies in my body. As long as I survived, they could make a cure. I immediately stuck out my arm, begged him to start researching, even wanted him to use his alien spaceship to call the authorities. But his ship had been shot down by the Trisolarans. His crew was dead. Only he was left. The disaster was coming. My only job was to stay alive, because if I died, everyone was doomed. The weight of that hit me like a truck. My mind went blank. He told me to stay positive, that things might not be as bad as I thought. I pulled myself together and asked, stumbling over the words, why he'd come to save us. He said it was to protect universal peace. And the Trisolarans had attacked Namek too. Those who mess with Namek, he said, will be hunted down no matter how far. That didn't sound very peaceful to me, but I wasn't about to argue. Right then, a cold-faced nurse appeared behind us. She told the Namekian to come with her. I watched his back, scared and relieved at the same time. He left. I stared out the window, tears falling again. The man from my dreams was real. The end was really coming. But for the first time, I felt a spark of hope. He was here. Maybe, just maybe, there was still a chance. Chapter 5, A World Both Strange and Familiar. Watching him get called away by the nurse, I sat there, heart pounding with anxiety. That nurse was Ding Jia. She wasn't exactly warm to us patients, but she wasn't mean either. What would my cousin say to her? Was he in trouble? I watched them from across the hall, talking by the balcony. He pulled out this sleek little gadget, and Nurse Ding's eyes lit up. She leaned in close. Then he seemed to take her picture, said something else, and her face actually turned red. When she walked away, her steps were almost bouncy. He came back and sat down, totally calm, like nothing had happened. He quickly briefed me, find Nurse Ding later and pretend to play matchmaker between them. When my mom came tomorrow, get Nurse Ding to back me up about going home. He asked for my home address, he'd check it out today, rent a place nearby. If I saw 2 white papers taped to a window, that was his. I nodded, agreeing to everything. But just before he left, I blurted out the question that had been eating at me. Cousin, are you only saving me? He answered without hesitation. What else? You think I can save everyone? My heart dropped. No. I practically yelled. You have to save my parents too. And my friends, you can't just let them die. He looked annoyed, said he was stressed and tired of women. I panicked, said I'd rather die than live alone. He was quiet for a moment. Then he gave in. He'd save my parents, at least. I slowly nodded, relieved. At least my parents, at least I wouldn't be totally alone. With tears in my eyes, I reached behind me and pulled out 3 notebooks, everything I'd prepared over the last 2 weeks. One recorded every detail of my dreams. One was full of news clippings and survival tips. The last one had a map of Longshan City, marking grocery stores, hospitals, police stations, my neighborhood, and every useful shop nearby. He flipped through them, stunned. Then he asked where I got so much money. I mumbled that I'd borrowed it, from over 100 boys at school. His jaw dropped. You're a kid and you're already scamming guys for money. I was mortified. I'm not scamming. I shot back, then shrank down. If they survive, I'll pay them back. Even if I have to work and sell my blood. He just stared at me for a second, then burst out laughing, not mocking, but impressed. He said I'd done amazing, that I should leave the rest to him. Told me to eat more, take care of myself. I nodded firmly. All my struggle, all my desperate efforts, he saw them. He understood. I wasn't alone anymore. Chapter 6, I am an Amikian. That night, lying in my hospital bed surrounded by the occasional mutterings and rustlings of other patients, I couldn't sleep. My mind was full of the day's events. Was Cousin really an alien? His story about the trisolarans, the virus, antibodies, it was insane. But it fit my nightmares perfectly. He said his name was Li Haocheng, sent by some company. What company? How did they find me? Why me? A million questions swirled in my head. But he was here. He believed me. He promised to save my parents. That was already more than I'd had when I was fighting alone. I touched the small stash of money and snacks under my pillow. Tomorrow, I'd do what he asked. Go talk to Nurse Ding. It was embarrassing, but if it got me out of here, closer to him, I'd do anything. Outside, the moonlight was bright, but somehow it felt ominous. 7 days. 7 days left. Cousin, can you do it? Can I? With these thoughts, I drifted off. No nightmares tonight, just darkness, and a distant figure whose face I couldn't see. Chapter 7, Social Skills of a Xiaomi 6 User. The next morning, I woke up determined. Cousin gave me a mission, and I was going to complete it. After morning rounds, I spotted Nurse Ding alone at the nurse's station, organizing things. I took a deep breath, walked over, and called out softly, Nurse Ding. She looked up, expression mild. Qing Dai. You okay? Not feeling well? No, no. I shook my head quickly, then tried to sound casual, just like Cousin said. I just wanted to chat with you. She looked surprised but smiled. Sure. About what? My heart pounded. I forced myself to continue. That guy who visited me yesterday, my cousin. What do you think of him? Ding Jia blinked. A flicker of something crossed her face. What? Why are you asking? He's really nice. Handsome. Talented. I recited the words cousin had planted, my face burning. I saw you two chatting, and I thought. I mean, if you're interested, I could totally help set you up. I wanted to disappear into the floor. I'm a student. This is so humiliating. Ding Jia's face flushed bright red. She stared at me, speechless for a long moment. You crazy kid. We were just talking. About your condition. Oh. I pretended to look disappointed, inwardly relieved. My mission was done. Cousin just said to talk, not to actually succeed. Ding Jia clearly wanted to escape this conversation. Don't overthink things. Focus on getting better. She hurried off. I watched her go. The way she'd reacted, maybe it wasn't completely hopeless. Chapter 8, Exploring an Alien World. I spent the whole day in my room, dying of boredom. Where was cousin now? Had he found my house? Rented a place? Found my buried money? I pressed my face to the window, staring toward the city. I couldn't see Talent District from here, but I tried anyway, as if I could somehow spot him moving through the streets. Mom said she'd visit in the afternoon, but by evening, she still hadn't shown. Maybe she was busy. Or maybe she was still mad. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I pulled out my little notebook from under my pillow and drew a small figure. Cousin. Then another figure next to him. Me. I drew a line connecting us. Cousin, you've got this. I've got this too. I touched the remaining money under my pillow. Tomorrow, I'd try to chat with Nurse Ding again. Find another way to convince Mom to take me home. Everything will work out. Right? Outside, wind rustled the leaves, whispering like the last moments of peace before a storm. And me, Fu Qingdai, a girl everyone thought was crazy, I was waiting for my so-called Namekian cousin to take me into the coming storm together.